There we go, fish. Second cast. I wasn't expecting that. I was still kind of just tuning up my reel. Looks decent, could be a pike. Oh, is that a smallmouth? No way. Oh, that's a big smallmouth. Big smallmouth. Smoked this 3/4 ounce spinnerbait. Oh, he threw it. Go figure. Go figure. Trail hook and everything, tossed it. That was like a 4-pound smallmouth. He wrecked the spinnerbait. I was still tuning up my reel, and he crushed it. So hopefully that's a good sign. So primarily, I'll be fishing for pike tonight. Secondarily bass. I'm throwing a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait with a number 7 Colorado blade, so it's putting off a lot of thump. Another one. There we go. Oh, that looks like a nice bass. That looks decent. This one I'm pretty sure is a largemouth. Here we go. There's 2 fish right off the bat. Stay on. What did I can't? Is that another big smallmouth? That's another big smallmouth. This is like a twin to the one I just caught. There we go. That's a stud of a smallmouth. And I'm really surprised. I mean, the water is mega low and it's pretty warm. That's a stud of a smallmouth. That's probably a 3-pound. I think the one I lost was a little bigger. That's maybe 3.5. But that's a nice healthy fish considering how low the water is. All right, I'll get that one back. So I'm barely past where I launched the kayak, and I've already tied into 2 nice smallmouth. Which is really strange. I mean, I am kind of surprised because it's kind of shallow here. It's a little weedy. So what I'm using for gear right now is I'm using a handmade 3/4 ounce spinnerbait with a number 7 deep cup Colorado blade. Whenever I'm primarily fishing pike, secondarily fishing bass, I like a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait. This has a number 5 hook on it with a number 3 or 4 trailer hook. And that's just a size 2. That's just to give it a little more flash. I'm using a handmade 7-foot medium heavy bait casting rod with a Shimano Tranx 200 size reel. This is a 200 HG, and I'm using 50-pound Power Pro, and that's pretty much my go-to pike setup. Even though I've tied into 2 smallmouth right off the bat, like I said, I'm primarily looking for pike, but any bass, you know, is just a bonus. All right, guys. So I think we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna stop talking and hoping to find some decent fish tonight. Alright, this tree's got to have some fish hanging in it. Oh my god, that was a good pike. No, that didn't even show on camera. Oh, dang it. I did not think a pike would be hanging in there. I just tossed this spinnerbait up against this tree. That should be coming into camera. As soon as I cranked this thing over, a pike smashed it. It just didn't get it. I cast it to the left side of this limb. Oh, and that pike wrecked it. It looked like a pike to be in about the 10-pound range, plus or minus. I felt contact on my spinnerbait, but I think it just bumped it. I don't think he actually got a hold of it. Oh, another pike in there. Oh my. Another one just came up and nipped this thing. It wasn't as big as the other one. This one was only maybe like a 5 or 6 pound one. Shocked that 2 in a row did not get this. All right, I'm gonna give them fish a minute. I'm not gonna stress them out too much. I'll come back in 10 minutes, fish the same area with a different lure, and see if we'll hit something different. Oh, there's fish. That feels decent. Oh, it's a little pike. Whew, scared me. He thumped that thing, and I had a little bit of forward momentum. And it just seemed a little bigger than it actually was. But he crushed it. Wrapped up 6 ways to Sunday, of course. A little bit of blood, but he was hooked right in the corner of the mouth. Not a bad little pike, just a little guy. And of course he's got to soak the camera. Yeah, so kind of coming up into this little channel here. All right guys, I'm gonna make a change. I just fished this shoreline for probably a total of 300 yards. And it's very similar to this, you know, real short weed lines, you know, down to, I don't know, them weeds are probably in 2.5 to 3 feet of water. And the fish just don't seem to be hanging out there. So I'm gonna try this other shoreline. It's kind of a real funny day. It's been kind of a real tricky afternoon / evening. Fish have just been in weird spots, so they're not where I normally get them. So I'm gonna try this shoreline and see if that makes a difference. There's a fish. That's a bass. This is the first fish in about a half hour. Really been struggling after I pick up them smallmouth. Yeah, another decent smallmouth. Feisty tonight. Just a small one compared to the first two. But I'm not complaining. He kind of came off of, I don't know, looks like he was about 10 feet off of a brush pile. And there's normally about 5 feet of water right there. So right now there's maybe 4 feet, you know, because we're down about a foot or so. But strange, it's just smallmouth. As hot as it is, I'm kind of surprised the smallmouth are as active as they are. Oh, there's a pike. There's a pike. He came up and smoked it. Oh, I dropped it. That was another one in the 10-pound range. Oh, man. I actually set the hook on that one, but just didn't get it. 0-3 for pike, you know, that's what I'm looking for, you know. There's a million places I could go to catch bass. You know, there's far less that I can catch pike. And I've had 3 good looks at pike, and they've just swing and a miss, you know. Whoa, talk about some algae. There's a ton of algae in these pads right here. Ton of algae. Oh, it's a little tiny pike. How is that possible? How is it possible that these little tiny pike get that? But the 4 decent ones I've missed, throw it. It amazes me. Amazes me that these little tiny pike will get this big spinnerbait, but the big ones won't. It amazes me. All right, guys, FYI, these pads are so full of algae, I'm not even gonna cast to them. I was gonna throw a weedless frog in them, but there's just so much algae, there's not gonna be any fish hanging out in them. Our fish up here in Maine don't like to hang out around algae. There's plenty of clean water, even in this body of water that these fish are hanging out in. They're not gonna be hanging out in all this algae. But the algae is just concentrated around the pads, so I am gonna fish, you know, 5 or 10 feet off of the pads, but I'm not going to be doing any fishing in the actual pads themselves. Oh wow, what do we have here? The world's smallest pike. I think it's smaller than the last one. Just spin out a little minnow. Oh, actually no, that's a pickerel. Sorry, not even a pike. Off the spinnerbait. Oh my God, missed another one. And of course it felt decent. All right, I was heading out of here and I saw this blown tree down. And you can't not cast a tree like that, so. Oh, just like that. Good thing I casted there. Nice. What do we have? That was a good hit. That was a good hit. What is it? What is it? Bass, pike, smallmouth. Smallmouth. I love it when that happens. I was just saying that was too good of a spot to not cast to. And this smallmouth rocked this inline buzzbait. Nice smallmouth. It's on my way out. Can't beat that. All right, folks, we're gonna wrap it up there. It's getting pretty well dark out, and I got probably a 10-minute paddle back. But what a strange evening. I fished for about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, and hammered them smallmouth right off the bat. Boom, boom. I mean, within 5 minutes of launching, I caught them two decent smallmouth, and had that pike interest shortly after. And after that, it's been kind of a struggle. I mean, I picked up a fish or two here or there, The pike situation really surprised me. The pike were just off tonight. I mean, I was getting them to hit, but I don't know, they just would not take the spinnerbait. I had a couple short hits here with pike, and I had one or two that crushed it to the point where I feel like I should have got a good hook set. But that's how it goes sometimes. You know, you can't always catch the big ones. But we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you soon.